Hi loves, it's Lacey and welcome to our space. Please excuse my voice because I am a little under the weather right now. Today we're going to be making a winter wreath, starting out with this wreath form, this great fine wreath form that has snow on it that came from Michael's. I also have a stick from out of my yard, and I have these little white owls from Hobby Lobby. They were $5.99 originally, but on sale for 60% off. I also have these pine cones that were $5.99 for 3 snow frosted ones, and they were 60% off. I also have these long branches that have snow on them with some greenery, some sticks, and some pine cones. They were $12.99, and those actually were 80% off last year. I have a few odd pieces from my stash, and then I have these branches from Joann's that were $5.99, and those were 70% off, as well as these little picks that have a little snow on them that were 70% off. Everything that we are using today was on clearance, and so let's make us a nice winter wreath. So first of all, I'm taking this birch piece that came from my stash that I had from before. It's actually not from my yard, it was from my neighbor's yard. And so I'm going to just set this in here and then hot glue it down to some of the thicker branches on the back here. And I realized that this side over here that has the 2 pieces to branches didn't have really a lot of space to go ahead and glue down on this. So I'm going to take my Ryobi compact drill, and I already have a drill bit on it from my last project that I did, and I'm going to drill a hole through it. So I can go ahead and take some fishing wire here. It's, I think, 12 gauge, and I'm going to just put it through the hole and then loop it around some of the grapevine branches and then tie them off so it stays nice where it needs to be. Once I get it tied down, I think I did like 2 or 3 knots for it. I'm just going to cut off the excess fishing wire, and then after I cut that off, I'm going to take and put a dab of hot glue on my branch. Let it harden up a little bit because this is a high heat glue gun, and I think it just would have melted it if I would have pushed it down right away. And then I'm going to take my spatula from Dollar Tree. It's silicone and glue won't stick to it, and just push the fishing wire into the glue to make this nice and secure so it won't fall out. And as you can see, it was brushing away a lot of the stuff that fell out of it when I drilled through it. Then I'm going to go ahead and take our little owls here, and I am going to take the stem out and then decide where I want them to sit. I know I want one up here on the higher part of the branch, and I'm going to put some hot glue. It's Gorilla Hot Glue in my Ryobi hot glue gun, and I'm going to hold it upside down and let it dry for a second, or harden up for a second. This footage is sped up just a little bit. I just want to make sure it didn't drip down onto or get onto my table. And then I'm going to take the second one and do the same thing, but put him on a branch down below. I'm going to hold him upside down for a second just so it can harden a little, since it is a high heat gun. And then I'm going to put him into place. And look at how cute they look. When I saw these owls at Hobby Lobby, I had to have them. And everything was 60% off for Christmas there, so I had to get them. So I hold this up periodically to make sure it looks like they're sitting in the right place. So now I'm going to take these picks that came from Joann's. They were 70% off of $5.99 for these. And I'm just going to, finagle them around how I want them and put them here on to these branches. I don't want them to be symmetrical on each side. I'm going to put one on the side, and then I'm going to turn around and stick the other one across the bottom. And I'm just dry fitting everything. You guys know I like to dry fit stuff before I glue it down to make sure it's exactly like I want it. Once I put those on, I realized I did not want those 2 big pine cones to be right next to each other. So I'm just cutting them off of these picks, and I'm going to use them in this project. I'm just going to put them in a different area. So next I have these pine cones that are really snow covered, and I fell in love with these when I saw these as well. And so I'm just positioning them to see where I want them, and then I'm just going to shove them into the grapevine wreath like I did the other picks until I know this is exactly where they're going to sit before I glue them down. So I kept these three perfectly together, and I decided I wanted to put the other pine cone up like this above them, and I can't even tell you how many times I have to wipe my table because stuff keeps falling off of all these snow covered things. But I'm doing the same thing by holding it upside down and giving it a chance to harden a little before I put it in, so I don't have glue dripping everywhere. So for the next ones, I didn't want them all together how they were sitting, so I cut them apart. But before I put them on the wreath, I decided I wanted to use some of these branches that came from Joanne, and I just cut some off with my wire cutters, and I'm going to be placing them here on the side to kind of cover up where the branch meets the grapevine wreath. And once I know that I like it the way that I put it, then I'm going to start tucking in the pine cones to see how it's going to look, and then I'll glue everything down. You guys know I'm extra. It's got to look nice and full for me, or else I don't like it. So I just do a dab of hot glue underneath each one of these, and I go back and I add in more stuff there too. So I take this pick that came off of something else and it's snow covered. It's more like the branches as well, and I put that in. And then after I get that one in, I glue it down along with a couple of more pieces of these branches. I really liked how these looked, and I didn't see them earlier in the season at Joann's, but they were only $5.99 too, and they were 70% off. So I was really happy to get my hands on it. And I bought a couple of them, and one pick of it goes a long way, as you can see. So now I'm going to take and put in my pine cones where I want them, and then glue those in as well. Then next we're going to take this really long pick, and I'm just going to cut off some branches that have snow on them and some of this greenery. It's sort of like pine that has snow on it. Some of them have a few little pine cones on there, and so I'm going to put those on as well. But first we're going to start here with this branch that I cut off. I like the birch branch I have, but I wanted it to look a little more snowy, and I don't have any snow like this in my stash right now. They usually come in like spray cans, and it's a bit messy, and I didn't want to use it, so I thought I'd just kind of camouflage that branch with it. And then I am extra. You guys know I'm extra. I really like these branches. They're kind of like a taupey gray color, and I wanted to put some on this side as well, so I'm just adding a few so it's a little bit symmetrical, but not, you know, I don't like it where it's so matchy but I do like to have a little bit on both sides of the same stuff. So as you can see, I'd put one of the pine cones there and didn't glue it down, and so now I'm going to just add in another branch on this side, and then I'm going to glue in our lovely pine cone there. And then we're going to move on to the other greenery that I already took off the large branches. So then I am going to just start tucking in this extra greenery with the snowy side facing out, just so it looks really like it's growing out of this tree, or this opening in this tree. I just want to fill it in so that it looks like it's all covered up and you can't really tell that, you know, things were just glued in. I want it to be very festive, very winter wonderland like for this wreath. I just I don't know. You guys know I am so extra that I kind of keep going until it looks good to me and looks like it is actually something that might be growing out in nature. So that's what I'm doing. I'm just tucking in everywhere that I feel like it could use just a little bit more. So then after I get done with that, I am going to tuck in some more like snow covered branches over by where the owls are sitting, because it just looked like it was bare there. Everything else looked really snowy, and like I said before, I pick it up and I look at it to make sure it's gonna look really nice. And so here it is, all done on my door, or at least I thought I was going to be all done with it. And then I remembered I did buy a little snowy nest to go with this. And so here's the little nest. I tucked it in under the branches right there. And I think it's the perfect spot for it. I don't think an owl needs to be perfectly in it. It's like they got out, they're looking around, and they're just hanging out on the branches of the tree, and they'll get back in their nest. I didn't have any like little owl eggs that I could put in there. I did look them up, and for snowy owls, their eggs would be just kind of white and a little bit speckled, but I didn't have any. I think it's fine just the way it is. So comment down below. Do you like owls? I love owls. We have owls in our areas. I never get to see them, but we hear them all the time. And I just think that this is like the perfect kind of wreath for the winter season once the holidays are done. So that's it. I want to thank you guys so much for watching, liking, and always sharing my videos. And if you're not a subscriber, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. I'm going to be bringing some more DIYs to you really soon. One I'm really excited about and I cannot wait to do. I'm going to be starting that one coming up here this weekend. And I can't wait to show you guys. It's Friday right now and it just started snowing. So I will catch you guys in my next video. Bye, loves.